A good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good whatever time of day it's at where you're at. Just wanted to hop on here to do a video. I want to give a shout out to Kimberly, people like Missy Renee, I Am This, aka Eric. Neither here nor there, for teaching the things that are straightforward. Especially Eric, in my opinion, he's become one of my most recent favorite channels. The way he teaches is kind of straightforward. I'm sure there's a reason behind that, but I definitely appreciate him for the straightforwardness that he teaches things. In my opinion, I think that's starting to kind of compel a lot of other content creators that teach the same things to kind of change up things a little bit too. But something I wanted to expand on from what he said the other day about obsession versus persistence, right? They could look very similar on the surface, but are different depending on your state of being, your state of thinking, right? So he had said the other day something about denying and choosing option B, right? And what he meant by that, right, was not allowing yourself to choose or to default to the thoughts that your ego is comfortable with thinking from your earlier life, right, up to any external circumstances that may come your way to further discourage you, right? Because as he articulated, he said, right, if there's a certain thought process that you've become accustomed to having throughout your life, right, that corresponds with being poor, being broke, never having enough, never being able to reach that level of success that you always aspired to, whatever, okay, if you've had that for most of your life or a good portion of your life, right, any variations from those parameters of thoughts would challenge you, whether initially in the form of contrary thoughts or external action, in your ego's desperation to get you to go back to being complacent with not having nothing, with being poor, with being broke, with never being able to thrive, right? It wants to maintain that level of comfortability. So, story time. And I hope Eric sees this, because this is a testament to what he's been saying. So, this is something I've been doing on and off since about 21, 22, 23. I'm 32 now. But about several months ago, I started to reevaluate my thought processes. I started to reevaluate any thoughts or self-conceptions that I had that were contributing to my seemingly continuous state of not progressing, right? So, fast forward. Since then, I've been promoted. My job, okay, that's great evidence of where I'm wanting to be at, right? Ideally, I would like to be successful in my professions that I'm licensed in. I won't go into too many details on what I'm licensed in, but hey, I'm saying that I am successful in those two professions right now, right? And I'm not going to allow my ego to provide any external circumstances to deter me from that, right? But in the meantime, I'm also claiming to be successful, being in the state of being, the state of I am, as Eric would say, with being successful in my current professional endeavors as well. So I've been promoted. There's been an increase in my finances as a result of my awareness, being in the state of I am in terms of being prosperous and wealthy and healthy. So the latest challenge that my ego tried to do to me today, or technically yesterday now, depending on where you're at, was recently, about a month ago or so. I had to have a operation done on one of my teeth. I had to get a root canal because apparently I've been having some cavity issues, dormant, right? I go 5 to 10 years without having to go to the dentist. Never had any cavities before, ever in my life. Had great dental health most of my life, right? All of a sudden, okay, as I'm changing my self-talk, right, as I'm changing my thought processes and adopting the state of being, the state of speaking, the state of thinking, of being successful and prosperous, right? You know, the ego that's comfortable with being mediocre, the ego that's comfortable with being broke and poor, not having enough to advance in life, tries to deter me, right? Initially in the form of contrary thoughts. Contrary thoughts is, no, you're not successful. You're not. No, stop lying to yourself. Okay? And when that didn't work, my ego went to trying to throw external circumstances to throw me off. And in the past, it's worked. But not this time, especially since Eric has shared the secret on the reasons behind those occurrences. So about a month ago, right, I had to have a tooth surgery done, a root canal operation, right? Because initially I was given a diagnosis from another dentistry saying that I needed to do an implant. Hey, implant, no other options, that's what you got to do. In the words of Eric, I decided to say, deny, option B. I wanted to get a second opinion. So I go to another dentistry, right? While they also suggested the same thing, they also presented another option. No, we don't have to go straight to the implant. We can also try the root canal. To which they said, now, if the root canal doesn't work, okay, we will have to go to the implant. But let's do the root canal first. We do the root canal. Okay? They do the root canal. Everything's good to go. The cavity's being thoroughly cleaned out. Everything's good to go. So, for the next couple of weeks after my root canal procedure, I start to experience a little bit of pain and chewing, right? So I schedule a deep cleaning about a month after my root canal procedure, right? I advise them of this, okay? They do their deep cleaning, and they x-ray the tooth multiple times, more than usual. I wasn't able to see any x-rays, but the dentist then said, hey, you know what, Dion, we actually might have to consider the implant or bridges. Okay, if you still want to send the tooth, there's a specialist I could recommend to you, yada, yada, yada. And of course, my initial reaction was, oh man, I just spent $900 to have this operation done for the root canal. And two, just to now have to spend the money to do the operation I don't want to do after being told that the alternative was going to work. My initial reaction was discouragement. But then I remember what my guy Eric said. Guess what I said? I said, deny, option B. So, as a placeholder until the date of when we can schedule the implant, he did prescribe me some antibiotics to kind of help get rid of the infection he said I had, which I plan on doing just for the sake of being consistent. However, I'm already in the state of I am in terms of being healthy and not having any sickness or illness, not having any cavities, not having any bacteria, not having any infections. Deny, option B. I've been doing that literally all day. And since then, I've had little to no pain since my initial appointment. Now, I'm still going to do the medication because just for good measure, but I've already decided that the reality is I don't have to do any more subsequent procedures. I am perfectly healthy the way I am. My tooth is perfect. And the medication I'm going to take will just only further solidify the fact that my tooth is perfectly healthy as the rest of my teeth. And that's that. That's final. That's what I decided. I've told my ego, no, we're not going to agree with the external circumstance that we need to get further operations done. We're healthy now. We're perfectly fine now. Okay. That's what I decided. And this is what I want to share to encourage everybody to do the same. Because while there's a good amount of people that are able to push through with their positive thoughts and maintaining their vision in terms of what they want to attract in life, most falter when external circumstances come about. We want to push through the external too, even though it's hard, it's challenging, right? Because the external seems more real than contrary thoughts. We can push through the contrary thoughts, but the external feels too real often for us to push through. But you have to remember, you start off within, then it goes outside. But the society we've lived in has taught us to believe what we see, when in reality, we should believe first, then we'll see. Okay? Society has been teaching us the opposite. So, just wanted to share that. And I hope Eric sees this as something that he can add on to any subsequent content he's going to make. And definitely looking forward to working with people like himself and any other content creators that are, sharing the cheat codes of winning in life. Have an awesome night.